What's up, you guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. So, as you can tell by the title, this is a bit of an update video with some new news, as I like to say sometimes, about the Transformers 1 animated movie coming out next year. So, a couple days ago, I did a video about the Twitter page known as Is Transformers 1 Trailer Out. He put up some info about the movie because there were some test screenings that happened not too long ago. There were some other people that got in contact with people that went to go see the test screenings as well. So it wasn't just him that got the info. So there's a bunch of different sources floating around right now. But I'm going to be using Is Transformers 1 Trailer Out on Twitter again here today for this video. So he posted some more info after I did that video. So the first thing here, he says, TF1's animation style reportedly looks to be a mix of the Fall of Cybertron teaser and TFP. The film will feature individual, full fleshed out character arcs, and some characters are completely unrecognizable from the start of the film. And then he follows that tweet up with this one. He says, when I say some characters are unrecognizable from the start of the film, I don't mean character design wise, I mean character wise. Whilst the designs will change in the film, they will still be recognizable as said characters. However, their personality and behavior will change. So that's to be expected with a Cybertron movie like this. We sort of did hear that a couple months back, that these characters are going to look different. There's going to be a couple different designs for certain characters, like Optimus going from Orion Pax to obviously the Prime that we know him as, Megatron, possibly Bumblebee, so on and so forth. So this does sound about right, and I don't mind this at all. And in terms of the animation style comment here, again, this is pretty much what I would expect from an animated Transformers movie, considering that ILM is also working on this, and reports hearing that the director is taking inspiration from the Align continuity and the War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron game. So this sounds like info that can be backed up, is basically what I'm saying. So it sounds right. This definitely does excite me, especially if we're getting a full-fledged 2-hour movie on Cybertron with a similar style from the War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron games, along with Transformers Prime. That just sounds absolutely sick to me. And he also tweets here, also notable, there was a lot of usage of Steve Jablonsky's score in this film for the test screening, more than likely a placeholder music, but I hope some can make it into the film. A profound track used was No Sacrifice, No Victory, which is an iconic Bayverse track from the soundtrack for the Transformers live-action movies. If some of you don't know, look it up. It is very nice. It's such a dope listen. But that's good to hear. Hopefully they actually do use some of Steve Jablonsky's music for this movie, even though when they already did it for Rise of the Beast, it felt a little played out. But I don't know, I think depending on the context, it could work for this movie. But like I said, when they did it with Rise of the Beast, it was cool, but it was like, man, can't we get like some new epic, legendary soundtrack for a new generation of Transformers movies instead of using the same Bayverse stuff? Even though I love the Bayverse, the first 3 films, but I don't know, it just seems a bit odd that they're still holding on to this music. Like, it's not original soundtrack from the 80s or some other show. It's just, I'm not trying to like downplay Steve Jablonsky's work. He's done amazing work and some of the best scores I've ever heard pretty much from a movie. But I don't know, I just feel like we need new music for a Transformers movie, especially for a new generation of kids and fans and a new continuity of films. It just feels more appropriate to me. But again, I'm not opposed to them using this. I'm a Bayverse kid, and depending on the context, it certainly can work. Going on with the info tweets here, he says, reprising his role as Starscream from Transformers Animated, Tom Kenny is rumored to be the voice of Starscream for Transformers 1. There you have it, people. This has been floating around for a little bit now, but it's kind of confirmed from people who have seen the test screenings. Like, yeah, that's Tom Kenny voicing Starscream. In terms of him actually being the final voice for him, I'm not sure on that. That's been a topic of discussion, whether or not Tom Kenny actually is the final voice for Starscream for the final cut of the movie when we see it, everyone here in theaters next year in September. But I don't know. I would love it if Tom Kenny was the official and final voice for Starscream for this movie, but if he's not, it's kind of to be expected with voice work for these types of movies. You see different people voicing characters all the time for early cuts of the movie just to like lay down the groundwork and voices so that the actual official actors for the characters can step in and just re-record those lines. So I don't know if that's the case here and they got more of like a A-list actor type like what they did with Alita 1, Orion Pax, and Megatron. I don't know. But again, I would love it if Tom Kenny voiced Starscream. Again, he did an amazing job in animated. We all know him from SpongeBob, basically saving our childhoods, some of us, so I would love it if he voiced him. So I'm not against this at all. It's just a question of whether or not he actually is the final voice of Starscream. And continuing with the Transformers 1 test screening leaks, we have a user here on TFW 2005 who I'm not going to show or name to protect the user and the person that he got the information from. I've had people comment on my videos, why don't you cite sources sometimes? It's because I don't want to endanger certain people. I did it one time before and somebody got pretty mad at me and I had to edit or delete the video. So I'm not going through that again. I'm just being cautious here and looking out for people so people don't get in trouble. So with that out of the way, this user typed here, and I quote, "I have received information. I'm going to assume this individual that talked to me is legit, given the caution they're taking. Anyway, unfortunately, the movie is a McGuffin chase. However, it is for the Matrix, not any T-Cogs. They want to use the Matrix to replenish the energon of Cybertron. He also said the film is really great, and we will all be pleased." And then he goes on to say here, he also said, "I can't make any more plot details known, but it's definitely one of, if not the best, McGuffin TF movie plot. The driving force of the movie is Orion/D16's relationship, so that helps to keep the plot fresh." So that's pretty much all the info he wrote there. So this sounds good. But again, I've had this complaint, I've said this in previous Transformers 1 leak videos the past couple months. I am absolutely sick of McGuffin plot-driven Transformers movies. It's been the case for every single movie. Even in Bumblebee, when they were trying to get a message out to Cybertron or whatever, the McGuffin was basically an Earth tower or Earth technology, basically. So, I don't know here. I just hope it's done well, but from how the test screeners, the people that went, what they've been saying, it sounds like it's been done well, and this is actually a really great animated film that us fans are really gonna love. But again, this is just the opinions of random people that went to a recent test screening from a few days ago or a couple weeks ago. I don't know the exact date. I don't know. The MacGuffin being the Matrix, it makes sense for an origin story on Cybertron, especially if you're explaining the origin story of how Orion Pax turns into Optimus Prime and the origin story of how D16 turns into Megatron. There's a lot of different stuff they could pull from where it necessarily doesn't need to be about the Matrix being the driving force between that relationship in between Optimus Prime rising up within Cybertron's ranks. But with that said, it is the most classic and most well-known story, so it does make sense that they went with this. But again, there's so much they could pull from, so much rich history beyond the 40 years of Transformers content between the shows, comics, movies, whatever you want to pull from. So I don't think the Matrix was 100% the best idea in terms of the driving force within the plot. We already know that the T-Cogs is going to be a subplot of how the Transformers are able to transform and them actually getting their transformation cogs. So we already know that the T-Cog and the Matrix are going to be plot devices and parts of the story within this movie. So that's already really MacGuffin driven, and we already know by now with these leakers that it's basically going to be another MacGuffin type story here, while driven by the relationship between Optimus Prime and Megatron between their early years right before the war and probably during the war too. It does sound a bit generic and a bit like, ugh, we've seen this before with Transformers, But again, with the way people are talking, it seems like the way it's done, it is executed really well, and that us fans just may really like this movie. But of course, you can't please everyone. There's probably going to be people when they see this movie not like it. So it's gonna be interesting to see the general consensus between Transformers fans, just like how it was a few months ago with Rise of the Beast. So yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about in this video. Just an update to my previous news video on Transformers 1 from a couple days ago. Some new info I just wanted to talk about with you guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching this video. All my social medias are linked down below: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. My email is also down below if y'all want to email me about business inquiries, or if you just want to hit me up about whatever, or if you want to commission a diorama from me, because I make dioramas for people for their stop motions, photography, or just regular display shelves in their homes. You can either hit me up on any of my social medias or just email me and we can work out a deal. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.